Hello everyone, my name is Joe and welcome to another edition of Joe's Technology. Today I'm looking at the installation procedure for SolydK, and I'll also share a little bit of a background about this interesting Linux distribution. This distro is available from solidxk.com, and the reason it's called SolidXK is because they have two primary desktops that they support, XFCE and KDE, and there's a reason for that. Originally, this was supposed to be part of Linux Mint, if you can imagine. Linux Mint, if you've been following that distro, for a long time has been based primarily off of Ubuntu, but lately Ubuntu has done a few things that rub some people the wrong way. I won't bore you with it. You can use your favorite search engine to read all about it. So, Linux Mint and a few other groups that were making derivative distributions decided that maybe it might be a good time to look at another base. And in this case, Linux Mint started looking at Debian, and in fact has a couple of Debian distros that you can download. One that's based off of Cinnamon, and the other that's based off of Mate. However, that meant that there wasn't anything directly from Linux Mint. I mean, you could install it yourself, of course, if you wanted to, the environments, but nothing that came right out of the box with KDE or XFCE, and these are very popular environments. I enjoy using both of them for various reasons. Although KDE, I have to admit, is my favorite. So, unfortunately, Linux Mint decided not to retain these as part of the official distribution. Now, fortunately for us, the SolidXK.com group decided, you know what, we'll just release our own distribution. And because it's based off of Debian, and we know we can depend on it, we'll call it Solid. And then, of course, the X and the K are for which environment it comes with. In this case, this is the KDE environment, and I'm running on 64-bit Debian Test. Now, the difference, if you're not familiar with Debian, is that Debian is a version of Linux which is more stable than others, primarily because it tends to run a few versions behind on the kernel and other little elements, for the reason that enterprises base a lot of their work off of Debian. I mean, you find Debian running data centers for big commercial companies, running database, clusters and web server farms and other stuff where, just random crashes are just not tolerated. So Debian runs a couple of versions behind with software that has been thoroughly tested, patched, and is extremely stable. And so it's something that you can rely on versus, say, another distribution that says, hey, we gave you the bleeding edge stuff that came out yesterday. Use it at your own risk. Might crash. And if it does, sorry, well, it was free anyways. Yeah, better luck next time. Yeah, that's the nice thing is here. It takes a lot of the nonsense out of running Linux. That it can sometimes be a little irritating. I mean, for new users, there's a whole lot of choice in Linux, and it might be a little confusing. Which one's the stable one? Which one's the bleeding edge, release? The good thing, though, is, like I said, Debian is something that you can really rely upon. So teamed up with KDE, one of the most popular desktop environments in the world, this is a winning combination. As with all Linux, modern Linux operating systems that are consumer-friendly, this comes with all your standard consumer software, plus, of course, you can install whatever you'd like, productivity applications, and it has my favorite Office package. Whoops, I double-clicked on it, didn't I? LibreOffice. So LibreOffice, here, I might as well go ahead and click on it now that I've got it. This looks a lot like He Who Shall Not Be Named Office package that's very expensive and not free. LibreOffice is pretty good. You can do anything that you want in there and it won't cost you a dime. That's why I like it primarily. All right, let's go ahead and install SolidK. It's just a matter of clicking on the icon, choosing your language. In my case, I'm in English, United States, so I'll go ahead and accept the default. I'll leave the default time zone, pick whichever one is appropriate for you. English, United States is fine for me. Again, pick whichever keyboard layout you prefer. Of course, it wants a name, so I'll just say Joe. Pick a password that you're going to remember. Remember, this is going to be your system administrator password, so pick a good one that you'll remember. Whoops. Sometimes my fingers get ahead of me. And here I'm asked to choose a host name, so I'll go ahead and call it Bob the Cat. Now it asks if it can set up the partitions, which is fine by me. I'll say go ahead and make the partitions whatever you want. Now here's a little quirk about SolidK. It asks me, where would you like your root? Well, you know what? I'll just pick this big one here and say assign to root. And go forward. So you have to know that you right-click and then choose root. Otherwise, it'll take a little while to figure out how to get past that point. All right, and now we install. And SolidK takes, well, as it mentions, 15 to 30 minutes. Although in my own experience, it's closer to about 10 or 12 minutes. It depends on how fast your computer is, of course. Okay, so now we're booting up into SolidK for the first time. Let's see what we have. The nice thing about SolidK is that because it's based off of Debian, we have compatibility with a large amount of software repositories around the world, and the KDE desktop is one of the most popular on Earth. So, as a winning combination, it would be pretty hard to beat these two. You should be able to do just about anything you want with SolidK. And here we are. Oh, it shows both my name and my username, which in this case are the same thing. So here, I'm logging in as Joe. Okay, well, I guess I'm selected. And it'll take a moment to initialize my desktop for the first time. Now this is something about SolidK that I really like. Many Linux distributions will have a welcome screen that says, hey, welcome, we're so great, blah, blah, blah. This is the first one I think I've ever seen that allows you to download drivers right at the beginning. The good thing is that the drivers that SolidK comes with recognize all of my devices, but if they didn't, I'd be able to use this to start looking for the drivers that I need in order to get my device working. If you had like a video accelerator, say like one of the GeForce or the ATI cards, I could see this being very, very handy. This is great for people who are new to Linux, who in the past may have tried a Linux distribution and were frustrated by, say, driver support issues or other problems. I know, I remember from the old days, wow, I mean, the first thing was you set Linux up after you got through all those procedures. Then you had to go out and use another computer to find the drivers for your network card in order to get it online. And once you finally got on the network and were able to call out to the internet, then you could download drivers for everything else. It was a bear. Now, it's a whole lot easier to set up Linux environments. A lot of things come pre-configured for us. Well, maybe it wasn't such a great idea to have the full name and the username the same thing. It looks kind of silly. But other than that, everything is ready to go. And as a matter of fact, we can fire it up and see that we're already connected to the internet. This is where this distribution comes from, solidxk.com. And the nice thing is that in addition to having both an XFCE and KDE distribution, it also features a server. So they have a nice SolidK back office server. So if you decide that you like this environment, you'd like to have consistency where you're running an office or even something at home and have it with a server, the SolidK server. In fact, I was planning on doing a series of videos on this because it looks so interesting. They included, I mean, we're used to having a server that'll have, say, some kind of SQL database and maybe a web server, but this also includes enterprise productivity things like, customer relation management, human resources. They were really pretty good about finding stuff. Project management. I mean, all the stuff that you can think of that a modern business would need is probably, this takes probably 80% of the productivity stuff that you're going to look for in servers. And again, this doesn't cost a dime. If you're running a business on a budget, and especially in today's economy, I would probably want to go for the free solutions. So this is SolidK. So I have a desktop that's ready to use. I've got my applications, graphics. Oh, and of course, installing software is just as easy as going in here and using the software manager. And whoops, of course, I'll be challenged for my administrator credentials. That way, let's see, don't remember password. That way I can, I prefer to just put it in every time. That's just my own preference. And this software manager should look very familiar for people who have used Linux Mint and other distributions that are using this. So, you can get any type of Office packages, graphics, sound, and video, anything that you feel that is missing, you can go ahead and add to SolydK. Well, so that's the installation for SolydK. Join me again next time. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy these types of tutorials. Have a good day.